Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I am joined by Mercyhurst Women's hockey player and assistant captain, Rachel Marmen. Welcome to the podcast, Rachel, and how's everything going?
It's going good. Thank you for having me. We've been back at school now from Christmas break for almost a month now, and then we start school next week. So we're just getting back into the things now.
Well, that's good to hear. And I want to start off this podcast talking about this season for a little bit. You had an interesting series against Robert Morris last weekend. You tied the first game, and then you unfortunately lost the second game. What did you take away from that series as a whole?
Well, we outshot them both games. I think for our team, we just need to find ways to put the puck in the net. And obviously, we can't take any game lightly. I think we came out a little slow in the first game. So that really is the reason why we lost that game. And then 2 days ago, we were up 2-0, and then we let it slip away. So I think we just have to bear down and find ways to score and put the puck in the net.
Now, looking at the overall picture of this college hockey season, how would you evaluate yourself as a player, and how would you evaluate your team so far this year?
As a player, I would definitely consider myself as a leader on and off the ice. I think I set a good example in practice and during games. And then off the ice, I think with my eating habits, my sleep schedule, and then definitely in the classroom, I set a good example for the girls and how they should follow and what they should do. And then as a team, we're definitely a hardworking team, and we know what we want to do this year, and we have our goals, and we just have to now find ways to reach those goals and bear down in certain situations to attain those goals.
Yeah, and talk about what it's like to play in the CHA and just the competition you face every night. Because this year, with Penn State being a ranked team for the first time in years, it seems like you guys get no night off.
Yeah, you never really know what to expect. So you always have to be on your game, and you can't take any team for granted or lightly, because you never know what's going to happen at that game. So we just have to be our best no matter what. And we play Penn State this weekend, so we obviously have to worry about. They have a strong freshman class, so we have to play our game and just be better than them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that series. It should be one of the key matchups this weekend in college hockey. Now, how have the freshmen looked like in your eyes from your team, and how have you helped their adjustment into college hockey, especially since you've never experienced a season like this before?
Our freshmen are very good, actually, and I think they're all still getting into the hang of things right now, especially because we haven't played hockey and school at the same time yet. So it's going to be probably hard for them to get into the swing of things starting next week. But us upperclassmen and even our sophomores have been really showing an example for these girls, and our freshmen aren't afraid to ask us questions, and we're always there to help them. So they're doing well.
Now, being a senior and being an assistant captain, talk about the leadership that you've had to, I guess, play in so far, and how would you evaluate your leadership so far?
So obviously we've been down sometimes in games, and as a leader, it's my role to bring the team up and change the game by either making a simple play or just blocking a shot or something, because I'm a defense. And I think that really changes the game. And definitely talking to the girls if they're having a bad shift or something, and just giving them a word or something just to make sure they build their confidence again. And yeah.
Now, many college hockey players have had to adjust to many things throughout this crazy season. One of those things is not playing in front of any fans. What has that been like to play the season without any fans? And has that been an adjustment for yourself?
It kind of sucks, especially it's my senior year. My parents can't come see me play, but ever since we started practicing in August and in September, we really in practice we enforced making our own energy and being our own fans for our own teammates. So whether that means we block a shot or a big save or something, we really cheer loud so that it feels like we still have fans there.
You've also had to adjust to many schedule changes throughout the season. How have you mentally stayed prepared for all those changes and postponements that have happened and that are bound to happen to your schedule? And what is the key for maintaining flexibility throughout this year?
Yeah, it's been hard, especially at the beginning where like we had a schedule and then every week it got changed. But I think the girls and myself, we've been really I guess in life you're always going to be thrown something new. So I guess now that we know what we've been through in the first semester and now going into now, we're just so grateful that we're playing right now. So we're not going to take anything for granted.
3-on-3 overtime has also been introduced to college hockey this year. What has that been like for yourself, gaining more offensive opportunities and more space on the ice?
I love it. I love playing 3-on-3. It's fun because in 1 minute you could be doing a 2-on-1 and then the other you're back checking on a 3-on-1. So it makes the game faster and it just makes more opportunities to score a goal. And we just had a 3-on-3 and it's tiring, but like we work hard in practices and we practice our 3-on-3 so that in that moment we can score.
Now, talking to other college hockey players, they've told me that defensively you adjust a lot on the 3-on-3 overtime because if you make one little defensive mistake, it can cause an odd man rush. Have you noticed that yourself, being a defenseman, that you have to be more defensively sound during those 3-on-3 overtime situations?
Yeah, because you're more like, because if you cough the puck up on the blue line, then it could be a breakaway right away. But I'm more of an offensive defense, so I don't really think too much about turning the puck over, I guess, because I know if I go forward, then a forward will cover me on D. But you do have to be very careful, but just be confident that you won't lose the puck.
Yeah, and being an offensive defenseman, how do you try to balance both parts of your game? And what's the key to that? Because one thing I admire about your game is how you can create chances for your teammates, but also can back check and shut the other team down.
So I love skating with the puck. I love going end to end, and it's something I've always done since I was a young kid. And I think for me, it's just not being like too offensive in certain times. Like there's a time and place to do it. And obviously, if I'm going to mess up, I have to fix that mistake. So I have to be sure that I'm going to be able to get back to get that puck that I first lost. So I think that's been really key to helping me if I lose a puck or I'm too offensive. But I think also in times there's a place to be defensive, especially in our zone. I can't carry the puck end to end all the time. So I have to pass the puck whoever's ahead of me before because the puck moves faster than me.
Yeah, and what has been the biggest improvement you've made to your game so far this year compared to last season?
Definitely being poised and more confident with the puck. I think I've been able to skate the puck more into the offensive zone, but not just throw it away and create more chances with my forwards. I think that's been something I've improved on this year so far.
Now, I want to talk about the beginning of your hockey career. You're from Oakville, Ontario. What was it like growing up there, and how did you start playing hockey?
So I grew up on a street filled with boys, and I was probably like 3 or 4 years old, and everyone played street hockey, and I was the only girl out there playing street hockey. So then my neighbor, he had a son that was my age too, and we went into to play Timbits hockey, and it was the best thing ever. Playing hockey with the boys, I loved it, and I played hockey with the boys until like I played a year of hitting, and then I remember it was time for me to move over to girls, and I cried. I was so sad. I didn't want to leave because I just always guys were my friends, and I didn't really have many girlfriends just because I played on the team with the guys. And then I moved over to play for the Oakville Hornets. I played 2 years there, and then I then moved over to Stoney Creek, and I don't regret anything I've done. So yeah, I really enjoyed my career so far.
Yeah, talk about playing boys hockey during your youth, and how did that help your hockey development? Because I know boys hockey is a little bit different than girls hockey.
Yeah, it's definitely more physical, which I love. I'm probably a little grinder, but it's definitely that's probably the biggest difference is the physicality. You always have to be skating with your head up because you don't want to get hit. But yeah, that's the big difference.
Yeah, it's always fun playing with the boys. Now, another question I want to ask you is who's your favorite player growing up, and have you tried to model your game after their game?
My favorite player growing up is Sidney Crosby. He's a forward though, but I actually grew up. I was playing forward too first, and then I moved to defense. But I just love the way how he sees the ice. He's not only offensive, but he's also defensive, and he could just pretty much he's magic on the ice. I love it.
Now, before Mercyhurst, you were talking about this. You played in the PWHL for the Oakville Hornets and the Stony Creek Sabres. Talk about your experience there and how did you get the opportunity to play in both of those organizations?
So I moved over from Oakville because my actual neighbor, he used to coach boys for the Oakville Rangers, which is the team I played for. And he was actually moving over to girls for his first time ever coaching there. And then he recruited me to go play for his team. And then I played 2 years in Oakville. And then Brian Cleary, who was the midget Stoney Creek AA team, he recruited me and watched me play. And it was actually the year we were hosting the SO Cup, which was really cool. And I was going to be an underager, so I was really excited for that. And it was the best decision ever because still to this day, I still talk to him and he's really had an impact on my career. And Stoney Creek was amazing. Like, they do everything for you there.
Yeah, and how did your experience at Stony Creek help prepare you for college hockey?
Well, first in my midget year, they really emphasize on skill sessions and not only playing with girls that are your age, but they really try to get girls that are older. And we worked with the junior and the midget team, so we had all skill level, which is important because once you get to college, you're playing with like people 4 years older than you, 3 years younger than you, so it could be different. And then in my junior year, that actually really helped me because our coach at the time really stressed on time management. And then when I got to Mercyhurst, our coach always stressed about how you always had to be on time and managing schoolwork. And yeah, that was a big, they really helped me into adjusting easily into Mercyhurst.
Yeah, and you got to play with many great players in your time in Stony Creek. You played with Courtney Maud, who is now the captain with Merrimack, and you also played with Kristen O'Neill, who had a successful college hockey career with Cornell. What was it like playing with those types of players, and how did that help
Yeah.
with hockey development?
So Kristen O'Neill I actually grew up with her. She's from Oakville. So me and her actually also trained in the summer at a gym called Peaks. And we also went to school together. She's someone I always look up to. She just does everything, like her eating habits, her work ethic, just everything. And she's so fast on the ice. She really made you want to do better and work hard. And then Courtney is actually my best friend. Me and her started hockey in Oakville together, and I always loved playing against her because she's feisty in the corners, and me and her, we go head to head because we both want to win and stuff. So it was really, I really enjoyed playing with them.
You also played for Team Ontario Blue. Talk about that experience and what did you take away from representing your province on the national stage for Canada?
Yeah, that was an amazing experience, something I'm going to always remember for the rest of my life. And I'm thankful I got to do that because not many people get to do that. Something I could take away from it is, I guess, enjoy it and before it's gone because it went by so quick and now you don't get to do that again. So I guess that's something I can take away from it.
Now, talk about your recruiting process for a bit and why did you choose to go to Mercyhurst?
So I started looking at schools in probably like grade 8 going into grade 9. And then Stony Creek really introduced me to different schools, which is something they're really good at and still really good at to this day because they have a lot of connections. And then I was touring, I was talking to different schools, but I really want to be close to home. And then Mercyhurst came, and I also knew people at Mercyhurst. And then as soon as I went on campus, I just fell in love. Like, I knew this was the place for me. The coaches are amazing there. It just felt like home, and I wanted a smaller school, especially playing women's hockey. Like, we're like the spotlight team there. Like, everyone looks up to us, and it's really cool.
Yeah, what's it like to play under Coach Mike Sisti and how has he helped your development as a player and as a person off the ice?
It's amazing. I've enjoyed it so far. Going in my 4th year. He really does anything for us girls and will do anything on the ice and off the ice. He really just wants us to succeed, not only as hockey players but as people too. Um, and yeah, like, he's just helped me. He does constructive criticism, but he's just trying to make us better. He knows what we're capable of, and he pushes us to our potential.
Yeah, and talk about your freshman season for a little bit. And what was the biggest adjustment you had to make to college hockey? Was it more the mental side of the game, making quicker decisions with the puck, or was it more just the mental or the physical side of the game, playing against players that were 4 years older than you were at the time when you were a freshman?
My freshman year, it was honestly one of my best years here. I had so much fun. I think the hardest part about adjusting to the game is probably the speed. It's a lot different, especially when you're 3 years, 4 years younger than these girls, and they are much bigger than you. That it probably took like a few games to get really into it and get used to it.
Yeah, and you were also away from home for the first time in your hockey career. How did you adjust to that, and what challenges did you have to face to overcome that, I guess, being away from home for the first time?
Yeah, that was hard, especially for the first month. But the girls here at Mercyhurst really made you feel welcomed, and it's pretty much once you're here, you feel like home. The girls were very there for you. They always wanted to check in on you, so I think they really helped me adjust to being away from home. And obviously, there's FaceTime, so I could FaceTime my parents, and I don't live far from here, so my parents were able to visit me.
Now, during your freshman season, your team won the CHA championship and made the national tournament. What was it like to win your first league championship as a freshman?
It was one of the best feelings ever. It's you can't really describe it. I just remember, I think we were losing at the beginning 1-0, and we go in the locker room, and our coach and all our seniors are like, "We're not losing this." And I was a freshman, and I was so nervous. I was like, "Yeah, we're not losing this." And then the game just turned around, and we just came out, and we were on fire. And then I just remember going to Clarkson after that, and it was sold out. I had a bunch of family and friends there watching me, and it was an amazing game. We took them to overtime, and I'll always remember it. We were so close.
Yeah, I want to talk to you more about that game against Clarkson. Just talk about being a player in that setting and being in the national tournament for the first time. What did you take away from that game?
In the moment, we thought we were gonna win. Like we had it, we were winning at one point until um, we got scored on. But then in overtime, I really thought we were gonna win. I think majority of our team, because we were the underdogs, we really thought we were gonna win this game. But obviously we didn't. But I think something to take out of it is that you have to play to the buzzer, and when you're up, you can't think you're winning it, because I think that's what could have happened to us is we thought we were winning the game, and then we got too high, and we have to keep a high and a low. So I think that's something I could take out of it.
Yeah, definitely. And Clarkson then went on to win the national tournament. So no shame in losing to that team. And you guys played great in that game. It was one of my favorite games to watch during that season.
Thank you.
Now, speaking of your sophomore season, you lost to Syracuse in the CHA tournament. What did you learn from that loss, and how did you use it to motivate you for your junior and senior year?
Yeah, that was our sophomore year was a hard year. I think something we can take out of that game is definitely we can't take any game for granted. Like I said before, like before you know it, that was our last game of our season, and our seniors, that was their last game they would ever play again. So I think now going into my junior year, we knew what we had to do, because we were not losing again. That feeling was one of the worst feelings ever.
Yeah, and on a more positive note, I want to speak about this past season. You won the CHA tournament again in overtime, nonetheless. What was it like to win that game, and how did it compare to the last CHA championship you won? And what emotions were you feeling after Summer Ray Dobson scored that overtime goal?
This It's the same feeling again after all our championship games. We sing this song, and I can't describe the song we sing. Like it's the best feeling ever, and just that's what my roommate, we couldn't wait to sing that song. We're like, we have to sing this song this year. And I remember our team wasn't playing their best game that game, and then our third period we just came out and we're like, we're not losing this. Like us and Robert Morris, we have a rivalry, so we're like, we can't lose this. And I remember when Summer scored, I think I just got off the ice too, so I might have been sitting. I don't even think I saw her goal, but I just remember standing up, and just it was such a good feeling. Like my heart was racing.
Yeah, definitely. Talk about that rivalry you have against Robert Morris, because those are some of the best games to watch in the CHA.
Yeah, I love playing them. It's like an aggressive game, and we all have the same goal. We all want to win. And I think it's just been something ever since I've been a freshman and years before. This has always been the team that it's a fun game to play. And I think this is going to be a rival forever, like for probably the next 10 years. Mercyhurst is always, and Robert Morris are always going to go head to head.
Now, your team was supposed to play in the national tournament again before COVID shut everything down. Where did your team find out, and what was the reaction amongst your teammates, especially the seniors, knowing they played their final college game?
Yeah, so we just had a practice and we all were packed and ready to go on the bus to go to Cornell, and then we got put in the football locker room and our athletic director came in and told us we weren't playing. And I remember Cornell didn't even know we knew before Cornell because I was messaging girls on Cornell, and it sucked because we were so close and like we really truly believed we had the team to win it all my junior year. And I felt really bad for the seniors because they didn't know that was their last game, CHAs. So yeah, it was a feeling that it really sucked, but I'm grateful that we're still playing today.
Now, you've played a good amount of college hockey games during your career. Which road arena has been your favorite to play in so far?
Definitely Wisconsin. My freshman year is our first series. It was the coolest thing I've experienced. It was sold out crowd, and I was a freshman, so I was so scared, but it was the coolest thing ever. And their fans, they are crazy. Like they all yell at us, but it's fun.
Yeah, no, that must be a fun atmosphere to play in. And we were speaking to one of your teammates, and they were telling us that they got thrown out of that game at Laban, and they said there was a lot of funny chants that were tossed at them when they were walking out of the arena. So that must be a cool welcome to college hockey moment, especially as a freshman.
Yes, it was. I remember that.
Now, I want to talk to you about some of the teammates that you get to play with. You get to play with Alexa Vasco. You didn't get to just play with her in college. You also got to play with her in Stoney Creek. Talk about playing with her both on and off the ice, and just what she like as a hockey player, because she's one of my favorite hockey players to watch on your team.
So Vasco's my actual roommate. Me and her are really good friends, and playing with her on the ice is so good. She's such a hard worker. She's honestly the hardest worker I've ever played with in my life, and I love watching her play. Like she gives her 110% all the time, like no matter what. Even in practices, she's always going hard. And off the ice, she's a role model for everyone. Even though we're the same age, I really look up to her. She leads by example in the classroom as well, and her eating habits are just crazy, and I really admire her.
You also got to play with Sam Isbell. What was it like playing with her, both on and off the ice as well?
Sam was so fun to play with, and she's fun to hang out with too. I like the way she plays. She skates the puck, and she has really good vision, and I really admire her game because that's something I look up to. Even though she was a forward for majority of her time, I really like the way she plays because she could really fly by anyone. She's one of the fastest players I played with. And then off the ice, she's so fun to be around. She's just always smiling and never really down, and she always wants to be there for everyone.
We're now in the non-hockey segment of the podcast where I ask you some non-hockey questions. My first question is, what is your favorite outdoor activity?
I love fishing. That's one of my favorite things to do in the summer. I fish all the time.
Nice. What's the biggest fish you've ever caught?
I caught a muskie and it was probably like 16 pounds.
Nice. That's awesome. Now, who is your favorite actor or actress?
Um, I don't even know if I have one, but like probably Jennifer Aniston. I love her. But yeah.
Nice. I would probably choose Zac Efron. I think he's funny and he can also sing and he can do a lot of different things. And I just think he's an overall good person and yeah, someone I admire.
Yeah, I agree. I like him in High School Musical.
Definitely. That was a good movie. One of my guilty pleasures. Now, speaking of guilty pleasures, I guess, what music do you like to listen to that pumps you up before a game?
I definitely love listening to country music. It's slow, but I don't know. It's something that I get happy about when I listen to. And then when I walk into the rink, I listen to rap.
Nice. Who's your go-to country artist or rap artist?
My go-to country artist is Morgan Wallen or Luke Combs, and then rap, um, probably Roddy Rich.
Yeah, no, I heard Morgan Wallen released an album like not too long ago. Have you heard it? And what is your thoughts on that new record?
Yes, I actually have probably every single song memorized. I think I listen to it every night. It's so
Nice.
good.
What's your favorite song from the new album, or you just can't pick one?
Um, I love Somebody's Problem, but that one came out a little longer ago. But probably just ones recently is probably Sand in My Boots. Sand in My Boots, I think it's called.
Nice. I don't really listen to too much country, but I do enjoy Thomas Rhett here and there. But for rap artists, I probably like Lil Uzi Vert. That pumps me up before a game if I was a player.
Nice.
Now, speaking of your teammates, who is the funniest on your team?
Definitely. Hmm. Probably Gabby Cox, number 3. She's hilarious. She's just always making me giggle.
Now, obviously, you have the best style on the team, but besides yourself, who has the best style on the team?
Um, yeah, there's a few girls, but probably Summer, number 7. She has really good style, I would say.
Now, being from Canada, what is the biggest difference you've noticed here in the US?
The biggest difference? Hmm, the peanut butter is different here.
Oh,
My
really?
We have craft peanut butter at home, and here I don't know, Jippies or something. I don't
Jif.
know what it's called.
Yeah.
Or
No, Jif
Jiff.
is good.
Yeah,
The one difference, I went to Canada one time when I was a kid, and the only difference that I noticed was the milk doesn't come in gallons, it comes in bags. So that's
yeah,
something that I had to adjust to. But it's other than that, I thought it was pretty similar for the.
yeah. We're pretty similar.
Now, last non-hockey question is, what is the hardest class you've ever taken at college?
Um, I would have to say probably corporate tax. I'm an accounting and finance major, so that was probably one of the hardest classes I've ever taken. It was really hard.
Now, back to some hockey questions. My first one is, what should be done to help grow women's hockey?
Definitely more uh, advertising, I would say, in social media. I think it's also key that games that are broadcast on like TSN and stuff, so people are able to watch those games. And I guess also these podcasts would be is really good in helping promote women's hockey. So thank you for doing this. We all appreciate it.
No problem. I love doing it. And what would you tell someone who has kind of like a negative mindset towards the sport? Like, because when I watch it, I love it, but I know there's a lot of other people who really just don't see it. So what would you tell them?
Yeah, I think a lot of people just think because there's no hitting, but there really is hitting. There's more contact than you think. I know some of the guys that I heard talk saying there's no contact, and then they come watch a game and they're like, oh, there's actually more hitting than I thought. So I think that would be one thing I would tell someone is there's actually more contact than they think, and girls are actually feisty.
Definitely. I like the speed and skill. I think that's what makes women's hockey so great in my opinion, because there's so many great players that play in the college level, and seeing their speed and skill is just fantastic. And I think anyone who gives it a watch will enjoy it.
Yes, I agree.
Now, what should I do better as an interviewer to improve this podcast?
Um, hmm, I don't know. Uh, I think you did a really good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just trying to improve every day and fix the mistakes I make throughout all my interviews. So I appreciate you answering the question.
You're welcome.
Now, is there any shout outs you like to give to any of your teammates, friends, or family members?
I give a shout out to my mom and dad back home, and then my boyfriend who lives in Penetanguishene. I know he misses me, and I miss my family and him too. So, yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Rachel. I really appreciate it. Take care, stay safe, and have a great rest of your day. And you're one of my favorite players to watch on Mercyhurst. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem. Take care.
You too.